where to go if it evaluates to true. You can also use a colon and where to go if it's false. So it's kind of like the ternary operator in C or PHP or Python. It's evaluate this. If it's true, go here. If it's not, go here instead. It's just a shortened form of an if-then statement. Does that make sense? Okay. Everybody follow so far? Should we give it a shot? Is it going to work? Nobody doubts me. All right, let's try it.
1. Please enter the number you wish to call. I am sorry, that's not a valid extension. Please try again. 2. Please enter the number you wish to call. I am sorry, that's not a valid extension. Please try again.
And hung up. It worked. Woohoo! See, that wasn't so bad. You thought you were going to confuse me. Absolutely. You want all the way to the top? Oh, I just did that as an example. I took it back out. Everything we did right here is just in this menu context. It's a channel variable. There we go. That shows that entire.
So it's a global variable example. You would set a value at some point by some means, and if the radio station says, well, the 10 callers.
You could do that, yeah, to keep track of how many callers have called this particular extension. One of the examples I like to use for global variables is just to make it easier to recognize a particular phone. For example, let's go up to our global section here, and I want to say something like Bob equals Dottie/1, and Betty is Dottie/2, and George is SIP/phone1. Okay? And then down here, I can say instead of dialing Dottie/1, which you're like, oh, who is that? You can say dial Bob. Does that make sense? Or you could also, since it's a global variable, you could say globals Bob. That works as well, since technically it's a global variable.
When do global variables get reset?
They don't unless you set clear global variables equals yes right here. If you had this set to yes, then every time you did a Dialplan reload, it would clear all those global variables. There's also ways you can clear them from the Dialplan using the set application. You can also use the asterisk manager interface to log in remotely from another program and clear those. Lots of different ways to close those.
So this is great if you only have one person using the user's context. If you have more than one person, they're all going to use 6999 to access the voicemail.
Well, the 6999 here is going to prompt them for which mailbox number. If we went in here and said log into 6001, it would only prompt us for the PIN number. If we leave the mailbox number off, it'll actually prompt us for mailbox number. Does that make sense? So no matter who dials in here, let's give it a shot here.
Canadian mail, mailbox.
Notice it prompts us for the mailbox there. This time I'm going to say 6003.
Password. You have no messages. Press 2 to change folder.
Now, one of the things I should have pointed out about the voicemail system is we can go in and record our own greetings and everything. We don't have to use those standard greetings.
Press 1 to record your unavailable message. Press 2 to record your busy message. Press 3 to record your name. After the tone, say your name, and then press the pound key.
George.
Thank you. Press 1 to accept this recording. Your message has been saved.
Okay, so now I've gone in and recorded George's name.
Second part of that is, if you're in the office and you have these people all using 6999, and it's asking them for their extension, how about it not asking for their extension and just knowing what phone it's dialing from, if they're at their own desk?
If they're at their own desk. There's a really sneaky way to do that. You want to see that? Sure, why not? As long as you're asking, we'll show you. So if we go into sip.conf, now that we're talking about variables, if you go into sip.conf, you can actually go down to a particular phone, and you say setvar equals, and the name of a variable, user ID, equals 6003. Or let's not use user ID. Let's use mailbox just for the fun of it. And again, you can use uppercase or lowercase or mixed case. I'm going to use all uppercase this time just as an example. And what this line here does is every time a call comes in from that particular phone, Asterisk will automatically create a channel variable called mailbox and set it to a value of 6003. Does that make sense? And now, go back to our dial plan here, and we could say mailbox. If that channel variable happens to be set, it'll say 6003 and automatically log in as this particular person and just prompt them for their PIN number. If it's a phone that I haven't set it for, that'll be empty and it'll still prompt them for their mailbox. How's that for tricky? One line. That's all it takes. Should we try it? Let's see how it works. Dialplan reload. We'll have to do a SIP reload as well. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to call from a phone that didn't have that set var set. So I'm going to dial 6999. Can you guys hear that okay? I know it's not very loud. Let's get prompted this for the mailbox. Okay. Now if we try it from this other phone where we've got that set,
Password.
it just comes up and prompts us for the password.
You have no mess.
So that's one way you can use variables is you can use that set var command in the SIP in the channel driver. It can be SIP, it can be EEX, it can be DOTI, to automatically set a channel variable for a particular call.
And then, of course, the next thing, no matter how bad of an idea it is, how about if a person doesn't want a password on their phone? I don't like the idea, but you get those guys that, oh, that guy deserves some chocolate too.
And one for you for being generous. Okay, the way you could do that is just set up another thing with the set var. You could just say,
Then you can pass another.
right, set var equals mailbox options equals S. Reload that. Then we could go into our extensions.conf, and there's a second parameter here to the voicemail main application, where you could put an S to tell it skip the passcode. In this case, we want to pass in mailbox options.
So the only way is to manage that manually.
Yes.
Okay.
Unless you wanted nobody to have to put in a password at all, and then just put the S in there. But that's
The user
not
can't
too
do
secure.
that, and they're still okay.
Yep. I mean, you could create a way where it looks it up in a database, and then you give them a way to toggle the database. And there's,
Make the default of 0000.
right. I mean, there's lots of different ways you can skin that particular cat. But this is an easy way to get that accomplished. All right. Dialplan reload.
You have no messages. Press 2 to change.
That easy. All right. So, question right here. Sure. Sure. The easiest way to do that is, there's a couple of different ways to do it. The question was, can you use like the date or time as a variable so you can do things based on the time of day? The easiest way to do that is with a Dialplan application called, instead of the goToIf that we had here, where's the goToIf? The goToIf we had right here. You can also use a goToIf time. And so let's say you want a different auto attendant menu during the day than you'd have at nighttime or when you're closed or holidays, those sorts of things. You'd use the goToIf time application. Okay. Basically, I'll just give you, we'll do a quick demo here. Sure, why not? Since the time is wrong on the server here, let's do 6501. You basically say goToIf time, and then you can say like what times of the day you want. So it's like 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Then you say, well, what days? Monday through Friday. You want it like the 1st through the 15th of the month. What days of the month? In this case, I don't care what day of the month it is. And then what months of the year? Oh, I want this January through September. Again, if you don't care what month it is, just put an asterisk in there. And then you tell it where to go. If it's Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., say we want to go to the menu, priority 1. If it's not that time, it'll fall down to priority number 2 here. And then we could say, well, we want it to be like 9 o'clock to noon on Saturdays, right? And you could add other times if you want the 4th of July in there.
Can you add time zones, or do you have to do the offset yourself?
There is a way to do time zones, if I remember correctly. I typically don't. I base it on the time on the server. Let's find out. Let me show you how to fish. How's that? Instead of handing you a fish, one of the applications or the things I said you could do from the command line interface here is get help, right? So let's type for show application go to if time. And yep, the thing after the months there is, what do you know, a time zone. Sure, core show applications. Oops, except if I can type applications. And there's 175 Dialplan applications there. You can see, obviously, we're not going to have time to cover all of them this afternoon. This is why Digium has like 5-day classes where you can come and learn all this stuff, right? But as you can see, lots of different things there with the things. All right, let's add another thing. Oh, question here. They're case insensitive. They're not case sensitive. Everything else in asterisk is case sensitive. The application names are not. Nothing like consistency, you know. Okay, let's add one other thing to our dial plan here. How many people would like a dial by name directory? That might be useful, right? Now, first of all, I have to ask the question, well, where are we going to get people's names? Where should we store people's names in the system? Wait a minute, we already put people's names in here already, right? Except I didn't do a very good job here. I should just said, like, let's see, that was Bob. That was Betty. That was George, right? So since we already have the people's names in the system in voicemail, why not use those? And we'll use an application called directory. So let's do extension 6502 here. Now directory, we need to give it a couple of different parameters. First of all, we need to tell it which context in the voicemail.conf file do we want to go look at. In this case, default. The second parameter is if you find a match, where do we go call that particular extension? Well, that's in users, like that. Okay? And I'm going to actually make a couple of different versions of this. Just to show a couple of different options here. So here, this is going to search based on last name. This one's going to search based on first name. And this one's going to search on either first name or last name. Since I didn't give these people last names, I'm not sure how this is going to work. So we'll give it we'll have 3 options. One of them is bound to work, right? Do a dial plan reload.
Welcome to the directory. Please enter the first 3 letters of your party's first or last name using your touchtone keypad.
George.
If this is the person you are looking for, press 1 now.
Now, how did it know that name George there? Because I recorded it in the voicemail system before when I recorded the name greeting. What about somebody who hasn't recorded their name greeting?
Welcome to the directory.
It's going to spell it letter by letter. So if I do Bob here,
B-O-B. If this is the person you are looking for, press 1 now. Otherwise,
oh, did I get a typo in there somewhere? Oh, yeah, I did have a typo. Remember when I did that globals? It should have been right there. It should have been global, not globals. Close. Good test. One more time here.
welcome to the directory.
There we go. Now it's working. Told you there would be a few typos, but it's that easy. Again, there we go. One more line in our dial plan, and now we've got a dial by name directory. You're starting to see just how easy it is to get in the asterisk dial plan and start